Video game companies are often strict when it comes to protecting their IPs. Understandably, we'll never see Mario's face in a new film or TV show without Nintendo's permission because they own the rights to the character. It should be clear to everyone why Nintendo taking action against those using their IPs without their consent to make money is morally justified. This moral justification for enforcing copyright is not perfect, however, as many times it is enforced against projects that would not bring the company any harm or lose them any money. Emulation of old video games finds itself a target of Nintendo's trademark cease and desist letters. Emulation is a way of playing old video games on modern software like a PC, often going hand in hand with piracy. The statement I made earlier about this not costing Nintendo any money would be false if they offered a paid service to play their old games, but they do not. As it stands, the only way fans can enjoy games of their childhood without going through the hassle of buying old and outdated software is emulation. Delving deeper into the reason emulation exists should give an insight as to why it is wrong for Nintendo to act against it. Assuming that emulation did not exist, playing old games would be extremely difficult and costly. As an example, I'll use the game Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube. To play this game on its original software would require 5 things: a GameCube itself, a controller, a CRT TV, the game disc, and the upper body strength to bring a CRT TV into your home. Even if a consumer was dedicated enough to fill their house with these outdated electronics, it would cost them around $400. The obvious solution to this is emulation, which would only require a PC and a controller, making the game much more accessible. Nintendo offers no way to play Melee on their current systems, and at the same time actively targets groups that affiliate with emulated copies. Being a Japanese-ran business, the practices of the company are unable to be fully understood from an American point of view. However, this does not change the fact that what they are doing is forcing consumers to pay an outrageous amount of money to play games that they stopped making money off many years ago. Melee came out in 2002, and the last time Nintendo sold GameCube games in stores was 2012, according to the GameStop website. So it makes little sense to care about a few fans playing them online for free. Some may point to the illegality of piracy and its relation to emulation as a justification for the actions of Nintendo. However, legality and morality are two different things entirely. Just because a company reserves the right to fight against the piracy of their old games does not mean they are just in doing so. As I stated earlier, Nintendo offers no alternative to emulation, so attacking it ends up becoming very anti-consumer. Forcing consumers to run expensive old hardware that does not even make the company any money anymore is unjust. Not only is Nintendo morally wrong for fighting emulation, they are sometimes legally wrong as well. As it stands, according to US law, the emulation of old video games is legal, so as if the one running the emulated copies owns the games themselves. There have been many instances of Nintendo threatening to shut down emulation-supported events that were in no violation of any laws, and succeeded because nobody would want to go to court with Nintendo's 9 super lawyers. From whatever angle you look at it, Nintendo's actions cannot be supported legally or morally. Unfortunately, there is not much that can be done from the consumer side of things to get Nintendo to change their ways. Every so often a group comes together in order to tell them to scram. However, this has only happened at the largest events, and can hardly have any long-term effect. The ball remains mostly in Nintendo's court, and they have a plethora of different options regarding emulation that would all be good for them. The first option seems the most likely, as steps in the direction have already been taken over the past few years. Offering old games for purchase on their new systems would likely see the end of emulation as a whole, and earn Nintendo money as well. For a system as old as the NES, which came out in 1983, instances of Nintendo-backed emulation have seen their newest console, the Switch. A large, albeit incomplete list of NES games are available to purchase and play on the Switch, removing the need to find a 4-decade-old console. Provided more systems like the GameCube and N64 get this kind of attention, there would be no reason for fans to complain if Nintendo fought emulation in the future. Other options, although less likely, include Nintendo supporting fan events, so long as they can prove that they have original copies of the games, Nintendo being forced to stop their actions in a court of law, or a Nintendo brand PC emulator with official support. No matter what the next step is regarding emulations, what remains clear is that Nintendo's choice is reliant on the direction that it heads in. In conclusion, emulation is a demon that Nintendo has been fighting for many years, and ironically they are the main reason that it exists in the first place. By stopping people from playing games that they don't make any money off of anyways, they present themselves as an anti-consumer company who takes action against people who are just trying to enjoy their games. Most ironically of all, however, is that the fans who are emulating and pirating their games would be more than happy to pay for them should Nintendo give them the chance. Currently, the war on emulation is one that Nintendo has fueled themselves via their shoddy business practices and could end up earning them lots of money should they come out of it on a morally justified level. Thank you.